Dynamics 365 Sales is the CRM part of the Microsoft Dynamics platform. That means we are in the world of contact and account management, managing your sales pipeline from new leads coming in right through to working opportunity pipelines and closing deals, and all of the activities and interactions and tracking everything that goes on there. What I'm showing you here is the out-of-the-box application. You can configure this to meet your needs, but it's a great idea if you understand all of the rich processes and capabilities that are there as a starting point. This is your opening dashboard. What we've got here is a series of charts that can help you with what's going on with your data inside the CRM. We've got a main navigation menu down the side. So as we want to go to each part of the application, we can just click down there to navigate there, and a search box at the top that immediately gives you a shortcut to go back into the recent contacts that you've been working with. Let's say Kevin is the person that we wanted to find. I can just start typing it to find that. And this is also fuzzy logic searching. So if I mistype it accidentally, you'll find that it can come up with the right thing there as well. Down the side here, we've got our Sales Copilot, which can help you keep up to date. And increasingly with inside this application, rather than relying on dashboards, this is how it's going to be, that we're actually using natural language prompts to understand what's happening. So this can do things like what's newly assigned to me, and it will go away and find what's happening. So we can see that I've had a new lead that's just been assigned to me. Now, this is all well and good, but most sellers don't like working in a CRM. They like working in Outlook. So let's have a look at the experience here, and then we're going to go back in and have a look at how this works inside the CRM. But increasingly now this experience is that we're bringing the CRM into the tools that the sellers use rather than making them go out and find those things. So here's Kevin Martin again. All of this data is fake. Kevin is not real. This is all just made up stuff. So what we've got here is a fictional company that's working with selling coffee machines. This is a series of emails that have gone back and forth between me and Kevin here, and I've got my Sales Copilot down the side that's giving me a summary of what's gone on, and I can immediately access my Dynamics 365 information in here. So if I click on this tab, you'll see here is the contact, Kevin, so I can click on that. I've got all of the details in here about this contact, so I will go here and I can edit this record so we can see I've got all of his information in here. If I come in and make a change to the phone number, let's say that that's meant to have a 1 at the end on it, I can just click update and that will go through and change that immediately inside Dynamics. This is giving you real-time access to that data. We've also got access to the related things here as well. So not just details about Kevin, but the other things. So the account that he's associated with. And again, I can go through and look at that information or click through to edit that, as well as all of the opportunities that we've got in progress. So we're going to go back and see accounts, contacts, opportunities that are in the CRM, but from the point of view of where the seller is actually working, all of these things, access to all of these things are just right there in the context of the email. So I can see here that this one is about the Cafe Grande Espresso machines, and it's giving me a summary, AI generated summary of the opportunity, as well as everything in there. Having a look at this, this is, I'm recording this on the 21st of January. It's not going to close within the week. So let's come in here and push that close date out. I think that's actually now going to be more like February, and make that update in there. Let's switch back now and have a look at what's going on inside Dynamics 365 Sales. There's a lot more to say about Copilot, but that's a whole other video for another time. So I'm going to start by navigating in and having a look at that record for our fictional customer here to see what's going on. I can close down Copilot on the side to give myself a bit more screen real estate. All of this is fully responsive and accessible, by the way. So if I zoom my browser up, you'll see that it gets bigger and it just adjusts to what's happening on my screen. So I've got a nice short list here, but this is a filterable list. So everything that's going on here, I can filter. I can choose, for instance, to, let's say I wanted to filter by people where the job title contains marketing, and apply that. And let's clear that filter. I want to sort in alphabetical order by the company name. And then I can come back and sort that back in here. So this is a very Excel-like experience that you can use. And let's find Kevin here and click through and open this now to get the details of everything that we know and all of our interactions with this individual person. So basic information down the side. This is now the link back to the account, the organization that he works for. So this is a hierarchical relationship in the system where we've got one account has many contacts associated with it. We're going to come back and have a look at that in a moment. You'll see there the update I made to his phone number has come through straight away into the system. Timeline down the middle here is where we are tracking all of those interactions. So we've got our appointments, phone calls, emails, tasks, notes, and of course, because Microsoft, all of the things that are related to Outlook, so your emails, activities, and tasks are synced natively in the platform. You don't need any integration to do that. We've got down the side here some other pieces that are measuring relationship health if you're using some of the premium capabilities in the system that you can measure that, and then any other related opportunities. We don't have anything here, but we're going to see that shortly when we jump across into the organization. So let's do that now. I could click here to go through to accounts, but this is also a clickable link, so I'll show you the navigation through from there to say, I want to go and have a look at what's happening here. Again, all of the core information about the account down the side. The timeline here is actually rolling up everything from those child records. So a datum has many people associated with it, so we're getting that complete picture in here. And you can actually filter the timeline because honestly, by the time you're rolling up all of that information, that's quite a lot. So you might want to just see the meetings or the phone calls or the tasks or things at a different status or a date, and you can do a complete filter by all of those things. We've got an assistant in here that prompts us with reminders of things, and you can actually trigger those for specific things you want to do for your business. And then this relationship now of saying we've got an account and related contacts shows up here. So we've actually got a series of people who work for this organization, and one of them who is marked as the primary contact. And this is giving us some read-only information. That's a hyperlink through to Kevin and a nice little card that pops up there with the information, but some of those things are visible on the screen there. There's a cool little org chart feature in here that allows you to visualize what's going on. We'll just skip over the instructions because I know what I'm doing. So we've got in here, Heather as the CEO, Alan, and then the other people that are sitting in there. And you can actually come in and edit this. So we might say we can see that Kevin is the primary contact for this account. Let me just zoom this up a little bit more. We can come in and say, actually, he's a decision maker, and Heather here is an influencer. Belinda is actually a blocker, and we don't know anything about Alan in there. So we've got all of these pieces of information that we can track in here. And if you have more people inside the org chart, you can just drag and drop and move them around as you need to so that that's kept up to date all the time. And then we can use this to navigate back into the main account screen here. The other important thing to notice here is that every record in the system has an owner. So you'll see this one is owned by me, Lisa Demo. The owner can be an individual person or it can be a team. Kevin also has that same owner. If I click back in here, you'll see that everywhere in the system has the concept of my records versus all records. So on my view here, I've got my active accounts, but we've got other views in here which are all accounts, and so that's within the permissions that you have in the system, the view to see everything else that's going on. And those permissions drive who can read, write, edit, delete, connect, share records throughout everything inside the application. So let's jump over and have a look at how you manage your sales pipeline with this system, because after all, that's where the money comes from, right? So we'll click across into leads and let's click through and have a look at a lead. And there's quite a lot going on the screen here. So first thing you'll notice across the top, this is called a business process flow. This is actually going from lead to opportunity. And the idea here is that this is guiding your user through a series of stages and steps that you want completed, but you can also use it within using your pipeline reporting to measure and report on where things are up to, where things drop out of the pipeline, how long it takes to get between stages. Now, I'm showing you here the full lead to opportunity process, but depending on the kind of business you have, not every business actually uses leads, and you don't have to. You can absolutely just start with the opportunity and not do this part, but I'm going to show you the whole thing. So the concept of a lead in Dynamics is like a baby opportunity. What we're doing here is tracking things that are coming in that haven't been qualified, but we're using this as a way to track things that perhaps someone's submitted a form on your website or just emailed your general contact us inbox, those types of things where you want someone to have a look at it and decide. Maybe you need to ask some qualifying questions to decide if this is something you want to pop into your pipeline. So it allows you to manage potentially junk coming in a different bucket before it goes all the way through. So that's what we're doing here at this qualify stage. So each of the stages in this pipeline process here has things that we're going to fill in before we move on to the next stage. And we're going to see this as we work through the pipeline process. So as a starting point with a lead, this could come in from somebody brand new, which is the example I'm showing you here. So we have Ivan from a fictional company here called Silver Scrolls. We don't have that in the database, but if this was an organization or a person that you'd already worked with, so let's say it was A Datum or Kevin or whoever that we've worked with before, you can actually connect this up. And this is important because once we decide this lead is going to be qualified into an opportunity, what the process will do is actually create that opportunity in relation to the person and the organization. If they already exist, it will connect them up to the existing ones that you've specified there. And if they don't already exist, then it will create them and connect them, which is what I'm going to show you in a minute. We'll get there. A couple of other important things. We've got this up next piece in here. This actually comes from a feature called sales sequencing, which allows you to set up an automated series of predetermined steps. So this can help you with things like those leads that might come in off your website to say, we want to send out an introduction email, 3 days later make a phone call, have those things that need to be ticked off as you go through. And they can be fully automated or prompts for a seller to do something, and then they can just mark complete, and that goes into the timeline. This work list view here actually gives you a whole lot of different ones. So here's Kenya, which is a different one, Ivan, who we were working with before, Ruben, so you can click through and work through each of these and tick off those steps. So this can actually help you if you're working at scale and you need a really structured process. But let's go back to Ivan and work through this in a more manual way. So the other thing that's happening here is that we've got this lead score, which takes the history of your previous leads that have been qualified or disqualified, and then based on criteria from the model of what you've been doing, and you can actually tweak that model as an administrator with a little click and point interface, this will actually give you a chance of how likely this is to qualify, which helps your sellers focus on the things that are more likely to qualify. And it actually gives you the reasons why the model has predicted that. Again, we've got our timeline down the bottom here, same as what we saw earlier. So let's qualify this thing. And my challenge here is, can I describe what it's doing faster than it can do it? So we hit this button at the top here, qualify. That is going to convert this into an opportunity. It's going to bring all of the information in the time. I can't say it fast enough. It's going to bring all of the information in the timeline across into that new opportunity. You'll see the pipeline process has moved across to develop, and it has created Ivan as a contact. If I click through into there, as well as putting all of that information in there, we've also got the link to the account that was created, and I can click through to that. So it's done a lot of work there in setting up a contact, an account, a relationship between those two, an opportunity with everything that came from the lead, and all of those things connected up. So just to complete the path here, here's Silver Scrolls with the information that we had, and also in here we've linked Ivan up with the primary contact, and then there is the recent opportunity, and I can click back into that. Now this one doesn't have any scoring or other interesting things going on, so let's go back into our main view of opportunities here, and we're going to pick up the story again with Kevin, who we were emailing earlier at the start. So this is my view of opportunities. This is a pipeline view that shows me what's going on here. So here's my date today. Here are all of my opportunities represented in the system. And these are the pipeline stages: a qualify, develop, propose, close, represented by those colors, and then the size of the bubble represents the size of the deal. So if I've got here we go, close, this one's there, but this one's a fairly big one. This purple one's fairly big, so that's coming up. That's worth a lot of money, and it's only in the develop stage, and it's coming up fairly soon. So I can click on that, and this is now a single pane of glass for managing all of your opportunity information. Let's say I've spoken to this person, and the budget here is actually 120,000. Oh, I think I put too many zeros in there. Not 1.2 million, 120,000 now. So that's all done, and I can save that. So this allows you to do an interactive experience of managing that pipeline, clicking through all of those things and updating them in context. You can also view it as a funnel or a pipeline view as well to see what's going on. So if I click here, this will filter the list down to show me just the things that are sitting at that stage of the pipeline. If I want to go back into just that standard view that we saw earlier, I go into this show as read-only grid, and now I've got everything in here in my view. Before I click into the opportunity, I'm going to show you a couple of things that are really cool features that I love about this. So we've got in the toolbar here, export to Excel. Now, depending on your zoom in your browser, you might automatically see that. So let me just show you. If I zoom out, if you're on a bigger screen, you'll see it already there. If at any point you don't see anything in the list, then the three dots there will always get you there. So if for some reason you want to export to Excel, because we do know that everybody loves to export to Excel, then you can straight away just do that, and then that file will appear in your downloads, and all of the information that has come through there will be in the same format. Let me just grab that across from another screen here, enable editing, and you've got all of that information in there ready to use however you like. The other thing you've got in here is, if you hover over this export to Excel and go across to the right hand side, open in Excel Online. This allows you to do data tidy up, clean up, update, all in context. You can come in here and update your dates, update your values, whatever it is you need to do, and just click save. I'm just going to quit out of that one. This is a little gem as well. Visualize this view in Power BI. Power BI is the part of the Microsoft platform that is used for reporting, and obviously you can build your own Power BI reports, but I just clicked one button here. I did not build anything, and this takes 10 seconds, 20 seconds or so, and actually creates an ad hoc Power BI report based on that view. And there it is. So this is now showing you the sum of probability by the estimated close date. It's adding some things up. It's actually giving me some commentary about what's going on here. Let's say I'm more interested in the revenue and less interested in the close date. I can switch that out and get those new charts in there. Zero effort. You just click the button. It's great. Let's go back in and have a look at the opportunity that we started out working with here with Kevin and A Datum. So this one's got more going on. We will see very similar layout to what we've been doing all along. The timeline, the details, the opportunity score, same concept as we saw with leads. This is working out based on your opportunities that have been won or lost in the past, how likely you are to win this one and why. And then we've got these stages and steps in here that have gone from qualify, develop, propose, close, that have all of that information in there. And as we work through the pipeline here, once we've done all of that work and we're ready to go to a proposal stage, you can just click next stage and do that. Now, throughout all of this, we've actually got associated documents as well. So you can do this with any record that you choose in the system. So I'm going to come in here and choose related documents. And this is actually using SharePoint underneath, but as a Dynamics user, I don't need to know that. All I need to know is that I can come in here, choose a file. So let's say I have put together a proposal for them in PowerPoint, and I've worked with them on that, and I want to save this against the opportunity. That pops up in there. We'll give that a second, and then we can see that in there. I can actually click through and open that, and because this is stored on SharePoint, if you're collaborating, you've got all of your version control and everything in there. It's actually not being stored separately inside Dynamics, but it's completely associated with that record from the user point of view. The other thing we can do in here is collaborate with a colleague. So I've got Teams embedded in here. This allows me to create a new chat. So I type the name of the colleague that I want to reach out to, And what this does is picks up all of the core information. So you'll see I've got the topic, the customer, the revenue, the close date already there. Could you send me the latest tech specs for this machine? Now you'll see I don't even have to say which machine because it's already in there, and I'm going to start the chat. Now I'm working in Dynamics, but this is Teams. This is not a whole separate thing. So when I go back into Teams later, I will see this conversation thread. My colleague who I'm working with does not need to be logged into Dynamics. We'll switch across here and you can see that this chat has come through. So I'm receiving this. There it is. Could you send me the latest tech specs? Here's the topic. Here's the revenue. There's a link. So I could actually open it in Dynamics to get more information. And I can just say, sure, and come in here, upload a file. We'll grab the technical specs and send those through. And then if I come back here, this person is receiving that in the chat. So all of that then is just using Teams in the context of wherever you're working. If you're here, you've got that Teams experience and Dynamics. The other person has got their regular Teams experience and a link back into Dynamics if that's what they want to do. The other really important thing we've got going on here is tracking appointments and tasks, and also being able to track those activities in context of the opportunity. That's really important. So yes, you can track emails, tasks and things against accounts and contacts, but more often than not, if you're working on a sale, you want everything related to this opportunity to be here. So you'll see I've got appointments and tasks here. So I've got a meeting, finalize proposal. I've actually created that appointment from inside here by coming in and saying new meeting. And if I come back into my Outlook calendar, there it is there, finalize proposal, and I can open that meeting. And then I've also got my Sales Copilot helping me out here. So this will give me, if I was working in Outlook back where we started here, all of the information in the context of viewing my meeting here. There's a summary of the opportunity and a link through to see what it is. So wherever you are, you've got that opportunity. The other thing that I love is that tasks are the same thing across the whole platform. So I've got a task here, get the pricing approval. The task in Dynamics is actually the same thing that's used in Microsoft To Do, which is the tasks application used in Outlook and also in Teams. So there we go. That's just come through. Get pricing approval, track to Dynamics. And if I mark it off in there, it's marked off inside Dynamics as well. And if I go back to my email now, the other thing that we can do in here, rather than having to track every single email or type everything in the summary, is when I've got this thread of information here, you can see that I can save an email to Dynamics, but actually what I can do here is save this summary to Dynamics. So I can click on this. It's going to suggest the related opportunities. So it's that one there. We click save, and that's now taken that summary, which is going to be much easier to read. Obviously, sometimes you'll want to save a specific email, but more often than not, a summary is going to give you a better result of something that you might want to come back to. So here we go. We've got the AI generated note email summary from Sales Copilot with everything in there. Done all of the work now. We've sent through the proposal. We've tracked all of our activities. It's time to close this one out. So we are now at the final stage of the opportunity in the close stage here. You'll notice we've got buttons at the top here, which closes lost, enables you to go in. That will let you choose your reason, and the revenue made is 0. The close date, you can actually track which competitor you lost to. I'm not going to do that though. Let's have a happy result here. Close as 1. We'll do very similar thing, but now the status reason is 1. The actual revenue will be copied from your estimated revenue, but if that was different, say for instance the deal actually came through a little bit higher or lower, you can put in the actual revenue. This is the date that it was closed, and we click OK. Now either way, with closed won or closed lost, what it does is it deactivates the opportunity, puts it in a state that's called inactive, which means it's locked down, read only. So you'll see here, read only, this status is 1. That means you can't go in and make any further changes to it. You can actually still add activities after the fact, but everything else is locked down and read only. Now everything on the screen here can be configured. These are all sections on forms. The data fields are in there. You can add new fields, you can remove fields, you can move things around, you can customize the process, and I've got a whole video on that showing you some of those options there if you'd like to know more about that. Thanks for watching.